You're so bright.
Yes,
Like you're right next to the sun. All right. Hey, welcome to Snackdown, morning edition, bonus episode.
Can we just line up all of those bonus episode things at the end?
Yeah, let's just
Okay.
right now or at
at the end. Yeah,
Okay.
That might be your bonus episode.
Yeah. So this is the earliest we've ever recorded.
Mm-hmm.
So we're actually having coffee.
It's Sunday morning. Just think about it. It's always Saturday in Snackdown, but this is post fun.
Yeah. So you're drinking some coffee there, Andy?
Yeah, I'm just having some coffee. Just some coffee with a little cream. I throw a stroopwafel on the top of it, and obviously it kind of started getting a little saggy. So I already ate that.
So I had run out of coffee, so I went to Wegmans to get coffee. And while I was there, I saw these like packs. So this is from Recess Coffee.
Oh, awesome.
I don't know this. It says freshly ground nitro sealed. I don't know what the heck how you would nitro seal a pack.
Yeah, so instead of like there being air in there, it's got nitrogen in there.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
And it's so it's a steeping coffee bag.
Oh, cool.
This is a campfire blend, and you kind of submerge it, you dunk it, and then you kind of leave it in there. But the cupping notes are smoky, milk chocolate, and marshmallow. So it's supposed to be like a s'more of some kind. Oh, yeah, it's because it's campfire blend. But yeah, Recess Coffee is a local Syracuse coffee shop.
Highly recommend if you're in the Syracuse area.
It smells actually pretty good when I open the bag. I haven't put any sugar or anything in this. I wonder how it is black.
Oh, were you going to wait to try it? Are you trying it right now?
It's all right. It's a little weak.
You evaded your line. It's pretty good. Yeah. You're all convincing, pitch raising.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It tastes a little like watery, I guess.
Do you think you just didn't let it steep long enough, or?
It says steep for 5 minutes, which I did. It says to dunk the bag for 15 seconds or longer for added strength, but I dunked it for a while.
You did dunk it?
Yeah.
How many ounces were you using?
It says place filter in cup and gradually pour over 8 ounces hot water per steeped bag.
Yours is probably 12.
I just filled a mug, so yeah, maybe it's a little bit too much.
That's how they get you.
It reminds me a little bit of hotel coffee.
It's not very flattering.
Like when you have like a little bit better hotel coffee. Like when I was in Hawaii, they had like Hawaiian blend, but it was still
hotel coffee. It
was still hotel coffee, but it tasted slightly better. That's kind of what this reminds me of. But I think this
episode is not sponsored by Recess.
By Recess Coffee. No, I think this is better than instant coffee, though. And so
good.
If you were, like, camping or something... I mean, it's kind of the same thing. With instant coffee, you're just kind of pouring hot water with the grinds and stirring. So I think this is also kind of like an instant coffee. Yeah. But I think it tastes a little bit better. So it's another option.
My coffee's pretty good. I got it out of a mason jar that said regular.
You were reaching for the canister that said flour, but you chose regular.
Yeah. Or coarsely ground peppercorn.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
So the reason that we're doing it in the morning here and just drinking coffee is we were actually going to kind of have a week off because we actually went hiking together instead of recording. And then we tried to, and we'll see, we kind of tried to record on the way and while we were there. And so we'll, as a classic clip show of a sitcom, we'll cut to clips of us doing that. However, some of the clips are pretty bad considering I was trying out a new setting on my phone. So there's there's like voice recording on my phone, and then there's an interview setting, which I had never known. It was like using mics on top and bottom of your phone. I'm like, oh, interesting. So when we were driving, I was using that setting, and apparently one of the microphones, my microphone, was horrible. It just like would cut in and out. So
how's mine sound?
Not that great. Yours is pretty good. So apparently the microphone on the top of my phone, which is never used, was pretty good.
Oh, wow.
It's still pretty bad. But when we were hiking on the trail, we used a regular recording setting on my phone, and that worked good. And then when we were at the top of a mountain, we actually set up our equipment.
Yeah, I found a way to rig up a USB mic onto my iPhone, and it worked. People looked at us a little funny, but we found a nice little place to tuck away, to steal away from nature itself.
Yeah, I was like, let's hang our feet off the edge and sit at the nice view. And Andy's like, let's not rob that of other people.
Yeah, I was trying to be decent and just in terms of letting, people like hike up and they're huffing and puffing. And then it's just like Justin and I just like,
just snacks.
Just with technology and stuff.
Yeah.
But using the imagination of your mind, I want you to think of that recording when we get to it as us hanging our legs and dangling off the side of a cliff.
And so what we did was we went to, it's called the Fulton Trifecta, which is not a high peak. So we didn't get one of my 46 done because we decided it was a little too far for a day trip. So thanks to Handlebar Todd for suggesting this. It was a grouping of 3 peaks that you can climb. You can actually get a badge for climbing them. So
yeah,
I'm going to do that.
Where are you going to put the badge?
I don't know. Maybe I'll sew it to my skin. No.
That's disgusting.
Maybe I'll sew it into my pillow so I can
So it'll be itchy and pain? Yeah.
No, I don't know.
Maybe if you have a day bag or something like that. I mean, because you start sewing stuff on or even ironing stuff on, and it's gonna ruin the integrity of the bag that you're carrying.
Honestly, it's probably gonna go into a drawer that I forget about, and then every once in a while, or when I move, I'll be like, oh yeah, this badge. But
it's gonna be a drawer of semi-valuable coins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some of those. I have lots of foreign currency in a pile.
Yep, it's going in that drawer. Is that pile in a drawer, or is it just kind of loose?
That's by my bed. The drunk drawer in my kitchen has some old phone wires, some quarters.
Why do you ever need phone wire ever again?
Scissors, a lot of half-used Scotch tapes, Christmas cards that I don't want to throw out.
From people?
That drawer, yeah.
I thought they were unused Christmas cards.
No. It's the Christmas cards I wrote the day after Christmas and decided to save them for next year.
Yeah. You're it's too late. People aren't going to appreciate these.
There's no belated Christmas cards.
So how would you like to go about this? I mean, I think just talking about the drive-in, it was a really nice drive-in. We headed east from where we both live. I got up at around 4. I was at your house at 5:15, and then we just trucked it on out. And it was about a 2-hour drive. So
yeah, so we got up there around 7:15, 7:30.
Mm-hmm.
And it was awesome because we were the first ones up that first mountain, that trail.
Yeah. We went to... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we could cut right now to a clip of us driving.
Yeah, let's cut to us driving.
Take it away, Justin and Andy.
Hello. It's how early is it? 6:41.
We're heading. We're kind of changing over as we're looking at the trees from just normal central New York to a little more Adirondack-y pine.
Fine. There's lots of pine. It's green.
It's pine trees, and it looks like the side of the road isn't cut.
Yeah. It's actually pretty wildernessy in here too, as I see there's chestnuts in Andy's car door.
My younger son is not super good at riding in the car. He'll just scream until he vomits. So when we were heading down to Maryland from central New York, we had to stop and change his clothes 3 times by the time we got to Scranton. So we were just stuck at a rest stop with him just screaming. So then that turned into a little activity where we were just kind of finding nuts and acorns and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we're heading up to Old Forge area. We're going to earn a badge by climbing 3 peaks.
And I'm going to do it in my Crocs.
Yeah, Andy's going to be the first crocker.
Yeah, but I really like this area. I like the change of trees, right? It's certainly more it's rural, but it's woodsy rural. Yeah. It's got a different culture, I guess. Yeah,
right.
So we're gonna go hiking, and
Andy smoked up some beef jerky.
Yeah, I smoked up some beef jerky yesterday.
5 pounds of top round.
Yeah, got that going. Got some snacks and treats.
All right, well, we'll sign off for now, and we'll catch you later.
Love you.
Bye.
Get used to that, guys, because we're going to be laughing in every clip that we do.
That's how it goes. How'd you like that bad audio? But anyways,
so then we get to the base, and I think there was maybe one other car there, or were there no other cars?
The first one, we were the first car there.
Okay.
So that was called Bald Mountain.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this mountain trifecta, it's right next to Old Forge, pretty much. So you really don't have to go that far out of Old Forge to get to Bald Mountain. So we got there, and we were the first people there.
And if you're familiar with New York, the chain of mountains is called the Fulton Trifecta. It is not in Fulton or near Fulton.
No.
It's near Old Forge, like Andy was just saying. I don't know why it's called the Fulton Trifecta.
Probably just a regional name.
Maybe Bob Fulton founded them.
I think it was old enough that it was a Robert Fulton. I don't think Bob. Do you think? I wonder when Bob was starting to be used as a nickname.
Yeah, I can't imagine a colonial Bob. Or medieval Bob, King Bob.
Yeah. Bob haveth thine scroll you seek.
Yeah, King Bob III. Bow to me or die.
Bob the Terrible. Yeah. So, anyway, so we get there, and what really stood out to me about this hike, and certainly the subsequent hikes, was just the open granite that you were walking on. I mean, it was worn down, and it was pretty much right from the get-go, maybe about an eighth of a mile in, and it just kind of turned into, okay, you're just hiking up bare granite, which
Andy loved.
I loved so much. It was just like. Yeah. It wasn't like quite rock scrambling, but it was certainly more doable over a longer period of time. We don't see granite in the area that we live in so much, I guess. It's more shale and limestone, but it was really fun to see, and obviously it's very characteristic of the Adirondacks in general, just to get a ton of granite and sand and loamy soil. So yeah, I don't know. It was like right kind of almost from the get go. It was like, all right, you're just going to be running around on granite, and you can really only tell that there's a trail because it's just kind of shavings of the ground, and it just shaves down to granite. So it must have been eroding.
You're kind of following the rock. It's not really like they cut out a trail. You're just kind of following a rock path. Yeah, that is naturally formed.
I do wonder, because that trail's probably pretty old. I wonder how much soil was on top of it. Probably not too much, but I would assume that there was probably a lot more soil, obviously, on the trail back then than there is now.
Yeah, through erosion and like foot traffic. Because they weren't even like mossy or anything like that. They were just kind of bare.
Yeah, but we were the first people up, and it was nice because we kind of got to see. Just the early sun. You couldn't have asked for a more beautiful day. The entire day. Bugs were low. The sun was out almost the entire time with kind of brief spells of clouds, but it was perfect. The perfect respite.
And it wasn't too hot. It was kind of perfect for climbing.
Yeah.
And there were a few clouds. It wasn't like a pure blue hazy sky. So there was dotted clouds. So it's just kind of
little breaks. Tiny little sun breaks.
I like when you're looking out over a vast valley and there's clouds enough that you can see their shadows on the valley, so that it kind of adds an extra texture to it. So
and depth. Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was perfect. And there was a fire tower, and the gateway to get in was with our backpacks on, you almost getting clotheslined.
Yeah. And you don't want to be clotheslined 4 stories up.
No.
It just makes room for the maximum amount of platform up on the fire tower, which I would think it's probably maybe a 6 foot by 6 foot platform. It's really not big.
Yeah. And it's just chicken wire holding you in on the way up.
Yeah. Which looked recent. You know what I mean? Yeah. There were probably enough people getting injured on this erector
I'm not putting chicken wire up until 5 people fall.
they were probably still going, never. We're never doing chicken wire, sir. Yeah. But 17 people have sued the parks association, the park, and the lawyers were just, they just had a field day, I'm sure. But it was great. It was a fun time. Actually, if you check our Instagram, we should have, if not day one, maybe throughout the week, we're going to have some posts, including a little fire tower sneak peek. So, ooh. But highly recommend, even if that's if you find yourself in the Old Forge area or on the way north to the Adirondacks, deeper into the Adirondacks, but you want to take a break near Old Forge, but you don't want to go to the water park, which we both kind of had the conversation. Remember on the drive-in, we were just water parks just seem so a bad idea in the Adirondacks. I mean, when I think of the Adirondacks and I'm going, I don't think I've ever been to the Adirondacks on a super muggy day where I'm just I need to get in water right now. Or man, I need to go on a 50-foot water slide with chlorine and all that stuff in the Adirondacks. That's never just a drive for me to go.
Yeah, I wouldn't drive to the Adirondacks, be surrounded by so much nature, and just to go to a plastic slide, But
yeah, so anyway, if you're heading into the Adirondacks, this mountain in particular is, I think it's just the most bang for your buck. And we did it first thing in the morning. We were probably the first people up on the top of the mountain for that day.
It's cool. So then we came back down. Along the way, we kind of opened into a snack, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And so then it's just a short drive to the next two, and the next two are in the same parking lot. So we decided the longest one first, which is Black Bear Mountain.
So do you think it was a smart idea doing the longest one first?
I think so, because at the end we were pretty tired, but it was nice knowing there was only a little short one left.
Yeah. Although that short one was very steep. Is there someone at your house?
Alexa was just talking. Oh. She didn't find something, apparently.
She's like, are you boys doing your podcast again?
You didn't take me on your hiking trip.
Describe it to me. I might never be able to go into the deep wilderness.
I don't know what fresh air feels like.
Build cell phone towers. I will be able to experience it with you. Sorry.
Me and Andy were talking. Alexa keeps trying to like get me to give her more information. Because she's like, you haven't taught me your name yet. Would you like to tell me what it is? And I'm like, no.
I love our Alexa voice. It has nothing to do with what she actually sounds like.
No.
It's more like a 2001 A Space Odyssey.
Yeah.
No, Dave. Alexa's like, a bicycle meant for two.
Yeah. Yeah, so we started up Black Bear Mountain.
Yeah.
It breaks off into two ways. One way is shorter miles-wise, but it's harder climb-wise because you're taking the elevation at a steeper route. So it's obviously shorter, but you're getting up it quicker. So there was, I mean, it wasn't as rock climby as the first one, but there was one spot where we had to like clamber up some rocks. And I think we have a clip of us walking up Black Bear Mountain. So maybe we'll cut to that.
Let's break for that.
Yeah. Enjoy. Hey.
Hey, you still with us?
We're on Black Bear Trail Mountain.
We're on the Blue Trail.
Yeah.
So
We took the harder route.
still pretty easy.
All right.
But
The last mountain we were on was pretty difficult. Climbing up some rocks was fun. But yeah, we just had a trail mix beef jerky stop.
what are your thoughts on trail mix?
I actually enjoyed trail mix for the first time, I think.
And you have been a person who's not really a raisin person.
Yeah, I guess when it's hidden enough in amongst enough nuts and chocolate.
So would you miss the raisins if they weren't in there?
I think they actually add a hint of niceness. I'm not going to lie and stick to my raisin hate. I think they add something nice to the trail mix. There was like a raisin conglomerate in there, though, of like 30 raisins.
But new year, new you, Justin with raisins.
I mean, no.
Justin living amongst raisins.
Raisins kind of peeking out amongst the nuts. It's
Justin
okay for
hand
now.
in wrinkly hand with raisins.
Maybe.
To be continued.
Yeah. All right. Onward and upwards.
Wow. The best of times. Anyway, but I really liked Black Bear Mountain. I liked it mostly because, so we went up the more difficult path, and that didn't have as many kind of pull-offs in terms of views, but we took the easier path down. I mean, it was a longer hike, but it did have a lot of nice, cool pull-offs where you can, check out, good scenic areas.
Yeah. It's hard to say which scene was better, which mountain, because all three of them had very wide open tops and multiple big views, like big vistas.
Yeah.
So.
I think the first two had sort of similar views in the sense that they had kind of like big lakes. The last one did too, and we'll get to that. But I think Black Bear Mountain was really cool. And were we able to figure out if that was the high peaks?
No, but I think we think we could see the high peaks from where we were.
Let me just check it out. Yeah. So okay. So there was a vantage point with Black Bear Mountain, and we were looking at this pond that is it was to the north of Bug Lake, but if you look out at that pond, that's split into two sections, which is kind of a swampier, drier end, and then certainly the watery end. That leads you in the direction directly to the northeast, and as you're looking at things, it's a straight shot to the High Peaks Wilderness.
Yeah.
And there wasn't a great vantage point to land a shot like that, but I was able to get a shot of that with a drone. So
yeah. Yeah.
We weren't bugging anyone.
Yeah, we only pulled the drone out if there was absolutely no one around. When you're up in the middle of nowhere, you don't want.
Yeah. We were lucky enough to not have mosquitoes. We didn't want that mosquito or a horde of mosquito sounds from
They're coming!
a lightweight drone. So yeah, it was a blast. I highly recommend Black Bear Mountain.
And so while we were at the top of Black Bear is when we recorded a longer snippet with better equipment.
And snacks.
Snacks. So we brought some snacks with us up the mountain, and we will cut to that now.
Yeah, let's cut to it.
Let's cut to that.
Okay.
Have fun.
Okay, we're rolling.
So we're on the top of a mountain.
Black Bear.
No black bears, though.
Not yet.
Not yet.
You're jinxing us. So
look behind you. No.
So if you hear if it sounds a little windy, guess what? It's a little windy.
It's windy, and we're recording into a phone.
Yeah.
With one microphone on the top of a mountain. So what you get is what you get.
Yeah.
Oh, bee in my face.
Bee.
So we've got a couple things splayed out in front of us on the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
Here comes that wind.
Ooh.
It's kind of refreshing.
Kind of for effect. Yeah.
So Andy and Kaylin smoked up some beef jerky.
What are your thoughts on this?
It's delicious.
So I like it. And, well, let me just tell you about the process. We bought some top round, and I sliced it into thin slices, about this thick. We hammered the shit out of it, right? And then Kaylin put it in the marinade. The marinade has soy sauce in it. I believe it's got honey in there, brown sugar.
Well, that's good.
Cracked pepper.
I've never heard of soy sauce in like a beef jerky.
Yeah, it's nice. Adds a nice little salt to it.
Mm-hmm.
This one we let sit for about 24 to 36 hours. And then at that point we threw it on the smoker, put it on there for about 3 hours or 4 hours. Temps kind of started changing a little bit, so we finished it off. We've got like a dehydrator setting on our oven, so we just finished it in the oven.
It's so good though, and we talked about it while we were driving. It's dry.
Yeah.
That's what I like in beef jerky. I like when you like have to rip it with your teeth.
Yeah.
I still haven't found any store-bought beef jerky that tastes like this. That's like a good dry homemade version. It's always like wet.
Well, thank you.
It's delicious.
So
we climbed. We're on the second climb. We're gonna do 3 peaks today.
Yeah.
Of the Fulton Trifecta, and then we're gonna get a badge.
Are you really gonna send away for that badge?
Maybe. I'll like stitch it to a lanyard and wear it.
You'll buy an old biker jacket at a thrift store.
Mm-hmm.
It's got like Hell's Angels, and then it's got like Fulton Trifecta climb.
Yeah, and it's got someone else's name on it.
Yeah. Killer Larry.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun.
These headphones are a little defective. I think they used to shock me, and I think they do sometimes. These are like one of the old Apple headphones.
Yeah, so sometimes your hair
earbuds.
like poofs up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the wind; it's just the static electricity from the shocking.
Yeah. Yeah. If my right eye drifts a little bit,
Yeah.
it's the headphones.
You got like a twitch in your eyes. So what else do we have here? So I bought a huge thing of trail mix. 'Cause Andy told me to get the biggest one I could find.
And then I show up with.
And then he brought his own, and said, oh, "I said that."
Look, we've been planning on this, and we're obviously like doing it right in daylight. But I still brought 2 flashlights.
Yep.
I brought waterproof matches.
Yep.
I brought.
Yep. I have lighters, knives, rope.
But you did not bring heavier layers
No.
than a damn t-shirt.
Yeah,
and jeans.
I think it's pretty nice though.
Yeah, I know, but you're not preparing for it. Were you in Boy Scouts?
No.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of wish I was.
Do you?
I don't think I would have appreciated it when I was young, but I
Right.
wish there was a men scouts. Like if I could do that now.
I think if you go looking for men scouts on the internet,
Yeah.
you might awaken something. I'm kidding.
Yeah. Some guy on Craigslist. I'll teach you all about the wilderness.
Yeah.
But yeah, the trail mix is good. And I was asking Andy, right next to the trail mix was beach mix.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm a fan of beach mix, but Andy says he's a beach mix guy. I don't think I like the sweetness of like the dried fruits that are mixed in there.
Oh,
I'm not like a dried pineapple guy. It changes
like
the
dried.
flavor of it for me.
it does, but I like it. I
Yeah.
like dried pineapple.
Andy, do you want a smushed cherry pie?
Of course I do. Yeah, give me the smushier.
Yeah, so these made their way to the bottom of the pack. I got these Entman mini cherry pies.
Mm-hmm. Actually, just kidding. I'll take yours.
Oh, this one isn't that bad. Mine's not even smushed.
Just like Grandma made.
It's funny because if you had a real cherry pastry like this, obviously that one would be so much better.
Mm-hmm.
But just like on it as its own thing, it's like a cheap, I don't know, artificial filled treat. It's pretty good.
Like a McDonald's pie, right?
Yeah, those are great.
You can't compare that to anything. But
Sometimes you just want that.
oh yeah. So my trail mix lacks. Let's see what's in yours. In your mountain mix, you have peanuts. You have M&M brand M&Ms. That's way better than mine.
What are yours? Chocolate circles?
Yeah. You've got name brand. You've got Thompson raisins. Whoa, buddy.
Yeah, you gotta get Thompson's.
And then almonds and cashews. So mine's off-brand. I've got
I didn't even know there were. Honestly, I didn't know there were off-brand M&Ms.
oh, I do have some almonds. Look. Okay, we've got the same probably.
Yeah, yours are just lesser almonds and raisins.
Mm-hmm. So what's been your favorite part of this trip so far?
This looks like a tooth.
Answer the question.
I found a nut that looks just like a tooth.
It looks like they pulled it.
It pulled pulled incisor. No,
And like the nerves still kind of hanging.
I mean I like climbing mountains. I like views.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know. You don't get to see a lot of depth in the world. Not on like a philosophical level, but just on when you're up and you can see for miles, you don't really see that a lot when you're in like suburbs and city. Mm-hmm. And just being in nature, hearing less exhausts and beeps and human beings, and more red squirrels and birds and. Yeah.
You said redbirds?
No, red squirrels and birds. Mm. So what's your favorite part so far, Andy?
So the rock scrambling, right? Like, and it's not like, we haven't had to go like on our hands and feet and white knuckle grade climbing, but I feel like a lot of hiking trips, you get to a point and you get to climb a little bit and you get to do like a little bit of rock scrambling. But especially our first hike, which was Bald Mountain, it was a lot of that just the entire way up. Was a lot of fun because I didn't have to think about it or go, oh, that was a really cool small part. Like, it was just pretty much the whole thing.
Yeah. So we got 2 flasks here full of...
Knob Creek.
100
proof Knob Creek.
Bourbon.
Just for little nips,
Yeah, we've been mostly drinking water.
Fire water. All right.
Well, this is great.
Mm-hmm. This isn't a high peak, but I'm glad we're finally getting out to do it,
Yeah. And audio quality, all this wind, probably not the best, but...
You know what?
Who cares?
You're here with us. And really, if it makes you feel better, rewind back a couple minutes and get a fan, right? Get a small desk fan, right? Or a box fan.
Yeah.
Just put it in front of you, right? Low setting, right? Make sure you're wearing headphones so you're kind of hearing us, right? And not focusing on your fan. I think that's kind of the best route to enjoy this episode. All right, well, we'll see you in a bit. And
catch you up when we finish the Fulton Trifecta.
Catch you on the fect side.
Yeah.
All right. All right, bye. Oh my gosh.
It wasn't really windy until we pulled the mic out.
It had a nice feel to it, so...
It was nice. You'll catch the atmosphere with us dangling our feet off.
Oh, yes. That's what I was thinking, too. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing. Anyway, so then we started our hike down. And
we took the longer route down.
And that's where we were able to discover a couple extra vantage points and landscape views and pull-offs. So
yeah, it was cool. And then at the bottom of the mountain, we took a break and had some sandwiches.
Yes. So, and I forgot the sandwiches on that trip on the way up for Black Bear Mountain, but they were worth it. They probably tasted that much better.
And so there was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, peanut butter and honey sandwich, and a peanut butter and Nutella sandwich.
And a couple of them were smaller, so I said, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't know that choosing peanut butter and jelly meant I chose 2 sandwiches.
It made sense, though, right?
Yeah, the peanut butter and Nutella sandwich was large, so that's the one that Andy had, and I had the other 2.
Little energy boost, little sugar rush, little protein.
And then, as you heard us talking about the beef jerky on the way, once we cracked into that, I was just constantly eating beef jerky the whole trip. So.
Is yours gone? Is it all gone?
Yeah. I finished it that night. It didn't even last. Yeah. It's sitting on my couch watching TV, ripping on that jerky. Yeah,
ripping on that jerky, man.
Then the next day, I was really sad as I saw the empty Ziploc bag discarded, and I was like, "Why did I do that?"
You kind of licked your index finger and just started kind of pressing for the little bagglers.
Yeah, I turned it inside out and was just licking the inside, remembering,
rubbing it on your teeth.
Tears, like a little tear streaming down my corner of my eye.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
So then the last mountain that we went up was Rocky Mountain, and it was that was probably the steepest climb in my opinion.
Yeah, it was the shortest miles wise out of all of them. But usually when it's short like that, it means you're going to just go up steeply. But that one had a great view. It almost just kind of drops off the cliff. Some of the other peaks are just kind of like a gradual. You're kind of at the top, but it kind of gradually falls away. This one's like a steep, and you can sit on the very edge. Very, very windy when we were up there.
Yeah, it was. We weren't even able to record.
Yeah, so I tried to record, and we'll cut to a clip of that right now, and it's just horrible. Mm-hmm. I can't tell it's super windy right now. This is the second recording. The first one. See, it was
wow. Yeah. It sounded like a big trash bag, just kind of constantly crumpling.
But yeah, it was a really nice view.
Yeah.
And all of them had different, you were looking out a different direction, I think. it wasn't like we climbed 3 different vantage points of like the same view. I mean, I'm sure you could like maybe clamber and find a way to the same view, but the best views were of a different vantage point or different. You were facing a different direction, so it was kind of cool that you were looking at basically three different things.
Yeah, it was just so beautiful. Just the whole thing was awesome.
Andy keeps typing on his computer to like look up information, and it sounds like an old computer from like the 80s, like the boxy one, and then the green writing on the black screen. You know, like I'm gonna be like, I'm printing out the information.
I'm hacking into the mainframe.
You know, the long roll of printed paper with the holes in the side.
Yeah, that you can the perforated holes. Yeah,
yeah.
So the one that we talked about, the Rocky Mountain summit. So you get a different vantage point. You saw a lake every time you got to the summit, right? Mm-hmm. But I think the cool thing about each one of them was you got a different feel. So the first one, Bald Mountain, you got to see like some camps. You know, I feel like Black Bear Mountain's view was a little more remote. You know, you couldn't really see too many camps. And then Rocky Mountain's summit, you saw the town. You actually saw the main strip on the right side of everyone's kind of normal viewpoint. And so you kind of got like a little bit of a different, like kind of 3 sides to the Adirondacks. So, but yeah, so the Rocky Mountain summit. So it's saying the estimated time for it is 42 minutes, which I think makes sense. And it looks like it's only 1 mile, but it's demanding. Black Bear Mountains Trail says 4.7 miles, but that's saying about 2.5 hours, according to alltrails.com. And then Bald Mountain was rated. It just says 2 miles. It doesn't really go into how long it takes, but like it's there and back.
So probably twice as long as Rocky Mountain. So probably like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I had almost just as much fun going back as getting there, even though we did double back on every hike that didn't have sort of a loop or a balloon.
But yeah, one thing I was telling Andy, one of my favorite things about climbing these peaks, in your normal everyday life, you don't get to see far distances. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're surrounded by cities or, even just mountains, hills. You're only seeing, even on like flatter ground, at least in New York, you're only seeing a mile, maybe 2. But when you climb to the tops of these, I don't know, it's just a different feel to be able to see for like 50 miles,
And really, it's like, I'm actually super curious about how far away we were able to see. I mean,
it's like taking a drop of water normally, and then this is like a big gulp, for your eye.
It's a big gulp?
When normally you get little drops, So it's just like, do your eyes a favor and climb a mountain and let it drink in the vastness.
So we saw the high peaks, and they probably start and kind of really wrap it like, looks like 40, 50 miles.
Yeah.
It was cool. I'm glad we did it. You and I kept debating whether we could do high peaks in one day. And even when we were on the trail, I was like, yeah, we could do a high peaks in one day. And you're like, that would be, depending on the peak, that would be like between 8 and 12 or 14 hours of hiking or longer. And then driving, 4 hours each way. And I'm just like, yeah, I think you're right.
Even on the way home, though, you're like, I think we could still do it.
It's one of those activities, especially when you're so psyched after doing something, that we did, which wasn't, it was challenging for us, especially since we're kind of out of shape in terms of the groove of hiking.
Yeah, I felt very out of shape. I mean, 3 months of not doing very much from being like not working and stuck inside. I was like, I'm kind of glad we kind of started with that.
but I felt like even when I was like super tired and sore at the end, I was still kind of like riding on like a little bit of a high of like, wow, that was great. We saw some beautiful views and we got to work that out. So I definitely still wanted to make it happen, even though I know we really can't easily or feasibly do that in one day.
Yeah. So then on the way home, we'll cut to a short clip of us driving home, and here it is.
Hello.
We're back. Did you miss us?
I bet so. I don't know. We are in the car. We're done. We finished 3 peaks, and we are heading for a little afternoon snack on our way home at a barbecue called
Hiffa's.
Hiffa's?
Right off of 28, I believe.
So,
and we don't know if we'll see how it goes. So I did a little research. I was looking at one site that said that we scaled like a net altitude of 2,067 feet.
so
That's pretty good.
feel it in my legs.
If we're going to have like little Gumby legs.
Yeah.
I already have
It's
little
like
legs.
Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're heading to Heffa's and we'll let you know how that is. Hopefully it's half of a good time.
Well, back to you, Justin and Andy, in a different time frame.
Yeah, so we were heading to Heffa's?
Nope. Hiffas.
Hiffies?
Hiffas.
What?
Hiffas.
Hiffas. We were heading to Hiffa's, and Andy was wondering whether he should get the brisket because he doubts brisket. He said he'd never had a brisket that blew his mind.
A lot of the briskets that I've tried in the past have just been too dry, and I know like brisket's certainly a golden standard in terms of smoking and barbecue. You know, I figured I'd try it. Just like, so one of my journeys, culinary journeys, or at least consumer journeys, is trying to find awesome biscuits and gravy north of the Mason-Dixon line, right? I've told you about that, right? And I know, 99% of the chance, or the times that I'm going to have it, it's not going to be, and not going to compare to anything that I've had before. But if I can find that little pocket of just amazing biscuits and gravy, just like I can with brisket, I'm going to do that.
You're not a Cracker Barrel guy?
Cracker Barrel does not have good biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, you had the brisket and...
So we had the brisket because I'm on that journey and search. And then also, you had pulled pork.
Yep, I had a pulled pork sandwich.
Which
pulled pork was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to say the biker story or no?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so...
We had interesting company waiting in line for the food.
Let me paint a picture of kind of how we look, right? I kind of forget what you were wearing.
I was wearing normal clothes.
So...
I had like a t-shirt and jeans.
But we were pretty ragged, or at least tired. Yeah. Not necessarily ragged, but so Justin was just paint a picture. We're both tired. Justin's wearing normal clothes. I'm wearing let's see, just a striped t-shirt, certainly like above the knee running shorts, and Crocs with socks. And these guys are sort of not looking at us, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't, because they've got their bad boy sunglasses on.
Yeah, and I was remarking
their motorcycle jackets.
Yeah, so it was pretty hot out at that time. It had to have been in like the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And these guys had jeans, leather jackets, and like they might have been leather vests with long sleeve shirts through them. I'm not sure, but it was long sleeve, whatever it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, they really have to like in the heat just be cool enough to like wear their jackets.
Yeah, they had kind of matching jackets because. I don't know, it's cool or whatever. And they're in a motorcycle gang, and I'm not going to say the gang name. But they had this SS patch, like, kind of like, obviously like white supremacy vibes, just like on the lower right hand. And they were probably just looking at me and just being like, are you, what are you doing? Blah, blah, probably just making judgment on me. And I wasn't in the capacity to pick a fight or tell them that their patches are stupid. But they were. Yeah, it was, it was ridiculous. And these guys go to a barbecue joint, which had amazing food, and the fools ordered burgers. So I'm not necessarily here to food shame, but when you're wearing white supremacy patches and then you just get burgers at a barbecue joint, I'm going to throw you under the bus. You know what I mean?
And then their trash blew away in the wind, and they didn't even...
Yeah, because they were too cool to run for it.
That would have been my day to see one like chasing the bag on the ground, like half bent over.
Yeah.
That didn't happen though. Anyways, that was our
But it was good. So Hiffa's is really good. It's on 28.
Yeah, and he said it was the best brisket he's ever had, so.
Yeah, and it's actually made me inspired to risk it on the brisket in terms of smoking.
Yeah, and so cool. So Andy, next day after, were you sore?
I was incredibly sore. Well, so my quads weren't too bad. Most of my legs weren't too bad. But I just have this, so if you're using if the shin is 12 o'clock and the back of the calf is 6 o'clock, probably about like 10 p.m. Or a.m. because it's a clock. It's just a 12-hour clock. At the 10 o'clock mark, that's where the muscles really hurt. And it's probably from like descending, right? So, and then I was I was smoking like a pork shoulder. And so the barrel was it was in the wind, and I was trying to do everyone a favor by keeping it off the patio so we could use the patio for just, people to sit around and stuff. But I had to lift it up myself and move it, and normally that wouldn't be a big issue, but I definitely aggravated that part of my muscle moving that, so it kind of sucked. How about you?
Was I sore? Very sore.
Was there any like particular area that was sore?
What's between your knee and your hip, so the upper leg on the outside? What are those muscles?
I don't know.
I don't know. That's what it was.
Let's see. Okay, you ready for it?
Yeah.
I think it's the tensor fasciae latae.
That sounds like a drink at Starbucks.
Yeah. Can I get the Tensor Fasciae Latte with skim milk, but 7 pumps of extra high-fat vanilla?
Yeah.
Simple syrup. Thank you. Sorry, doing my best.
So how would you rate your coffee this morning?
You ready for an answer like you?
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I wonder how many people notice when you just say, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Sorry for doing podcast co-host introspection.
Mm-hmm. Response shaming.
Yeah.
What was your favorite peak out of all three? Like the view at the top.
I would say Bear Mountain because you just kept seeing different peaks, and especially with the pull-offs, they were still really high up on the mountain. So you know, if you wanted to find your space, and this was already like a less popular peak, I would say, as compared to the other two. If you wanted to find your space, you absolutely could.
Yeah, the peak was large, so you could kind of walk around and find a lot of different views instead of like one little spot where there was a view.
What about you? What was your favorite?
That's a tough question. I don't know why I asked it because I don't really have a good answer. I think I liked them all. I liked the last Rocky.
Rocky, yeah.
Just because of the way the peak was shaped, and it was just kind of like a drop off, and like it wasn't like a gradual peak. But I think I liked, the bear one, Black Bear, just because of how large it was.
We didn't really explore Rocky Mountain Top or Summit or whatever too much. We were pretty beat at that point.
Yeah,
and pretty hungry. So
I did like the first one though because of the fire tower.
Yeah,
I mean it's kind of like you get to the peak and then you extend yourself, another 20 feet in the air, so then you can kind of see even farther. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree.
They were all good. I don't think
one really stood out as being the far superior one. I think they all had their own cool things that I was, looking for or didn't know what I was looking for and appreciated. So you should try them all. If you can do them all in one day, you can get the 24-hour patch. No, I'm kidding. That's not a patch.
There is a patch, though.
But yeah, I think it was all fun. I'm glad I brought my drone. I know we didn't use it we didn't overuse it, so I'm happy we also used it judiciously. But you were cool enough to just let me unpack it and start it up and fly it around a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't take that long, and we made sure that there was no one around. So
yeah, we're not people walking around with selfie sticks. This is cool because it's a hiking stick, but it also turns into a selfie stick. But it actually doesn't really work too well as a hiking stick because I got it on Amazon, and it's actually just labeled as a selfie stick. Well, so if you guys have any questions about that hike specifically, we can answer questions with really a beginner level of advice for that hike specifically. Yeah. But what I would say is follow Handlebar Todd.
Yeah, he's a cool, knowledgeable guy.
Yeah, and he's got, what is it called, Handlebar Craft?
Handlebar Todd owns Handlebar Craft, which is his honey company, kind of.
Yeah.
And you can keep up with his honeybees and his fresh honey. He also is an admin of the Adirondack hiking Facebook group that I'm on.
That's awesome.
And that's why I kind of asked him for suggestions. And he was just right quick with them, like, oh, just do this.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about hiking in central New York or the Adirondacks, definitely get a hold of him. Follow him. He's got some really cool stuff, and you might learn something.
So cool.
We just have to kind of stay in our lanes and know what we know.
Yeah.
So
well, thanks for hanging out for this weird, different episode.
Yeah. Hopefully you got some sounds of nature or just a bunch of garbage bags being crumpled or grocery bags being crumpled all at the same time. But you just kind of have to replace that with a very gentle breeze in your mind.
Well, should I close this out?
Yes, please do.
Thanks for listening today. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can listen to this episode and others like it on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and a bunch of other places. You can go to our website at www.snackdownpod.com. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/snackdown, and you can get early day releases there. And if we hit 20 Patreon subscribers, I will be pieing Andy in the face and checking off a bucket list item.
With many camera angles, including, possibly, like we talked about, a GoPro on my forehead.
My mom texted me the other day and said, just so you know, key lime pies are on sale at the grocery store.
Your mom's a sick woman.
Yeah.
That's one of the ones that I'm fearful that it'll still be frozen.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening. I think it was, we had a fun time, and I hope we were able to capture a little bit of the fun time that we had.
Yeah. So this is a first weird, different kind of episode. So we just decided instead of taking a week off, we'll give it a whirl.
So I'm going to sing us out, okay? So, ready?
Okay, yep.
Go snack it on the mountain. Okay, bye.
Bye. Hey, welcome to Snackdown, morning edition, bonus episode.
How'd we do? Good?
No, we didn't do good.
Bonus episode.
Ready? Hey, welcome to Snackdown, morning edition,
Bonus
episode.
How'd we do?
Good, that's good.
No, it wasn't. That was awful, right?
You want to do it one more time? Hey, welcome to Snackdown, morning edition,
Bonus
episode.
Okay, so
That was worse.
It's actually pretty tough to do that remotely. I'd
It
say.
is because it's not lining up.
The
Let's just do
latency.
one more. 3, 2, 1.
Bonus
episode. Okay, it's good in there somewhere.